Hello everyone, and thanks for joining the Point 10.9 webinar. Let's get started with the housekeeping and the legal disclaimer. I'll put this up on the screen, let you read that, and then we'll proceed on. Next, if you have any questions related to this webinar, you can use the chat feature in the GoToWebinar, and one of the consultants we have on the call with us will answer you. Any other questions can be answered with our direct support at 1-800-342-2599. I'll be your presenter today. My name is Allie Whitaker, and I'm the Professional Services Training Team Lead here at Calyx Software. Today we're going to be covering the new features and enhancements that we have inside of the Point 10.9 update. Point will now support the ULDD Phase 4A. This is for Fannie and Freddie. I'll show you the updates to the banker and shipping area, as well as the Eloan file, the additional loan data to show you what we've updated in those screens. We've also updated for Freddie Mac screen. We've allowed multiple selections for an offering identifier. So when we get to that Freddie Mac area, I'll show you that new button, the offering identifier. Our custom screens, we now have an option that will allow you to enter more characters into the text field. We've also updated the VA request for determination of reasonable value. This form was already inside of Point. We've just updated that form, so we'll show you that. We've also updated linked first and second mortgages. So this is where you have a first and second. The information from that mortgage will now transfer over to the other mortgage if it is linked. And I'll show you the different sections of that. And finally, on our new features, we've added a Save As button when you're working with Calyx support. If you had issues sending in a file to us that was scrubbed, this now gives you the ability to save it. It does scrub out the pertinent loan information, so you're not sending the customer's information to us, and we can still help you with the file issue. Other updates that we had in this release is we have now updated all of our WebConnect interfaces to Edge from Internet Explorer, so those will now open up and have been updated. We've also updated the issue there was with the REO. There was an issue with the property not populating the liabilities from the credit, so now that has been fixed in this 10.9 release. We have also corrected the ability for users to bypass custom message rules or required fields by going to the con log. So that is now fixed as well. So let's go ahead and jump into a Point file, and I can show you these updates that we've got. So we're going to start with the ULDD, the Phase 4A. This is for Fannie and Freddie. So I'm going to go up to Banker and Shipping. So up at the top and then down to shipping. Now the change here is for Freddie. So I'm going to scroll down and you'll see that there's a select a program with the Freddie Mac program white box below that. So for this area, you'll click on the select a program button. You'll see here the Freddie program with all of the options and the checkboxes. We do have a note up at the top for you that Freddie Mac will only allow 5 values. Point would allow you to check more, but you would get an error when you exported the ULDD. The process for exporting the ULDD has not changed. You would still use the Export to Fannie or Export to Freddie Mac buttons above that. But this is the new Select a Program area for the Freddie Mac section. Another update we had is under the Eloan file and additional loan data. And I'm going to scroll down. What we've updated is the MI list. So if any mortgage insurance company has changed their name, we now have that updated inside of this list. So that should no longer cause any errors. Next update is with the Freddie Mac addendum. So I'm going to go up to Services menu and then down to Freddie Mac and then the addendum. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit. You can see in the transaction detail area there is now a select an offering button and an offering identifier space below that. If I select the button that's select an offering, it's going to give me several options that I can choose as my offering identifiers when running Freddie Mac. Next, we've got the custom screens. Custom screens live under the utilities area. I'm going to go up to utilities here, and then we've got custom screen settings. Custom screens are good for allowing you to put in data that isn't inside of Point already that you either want to report on or put into a custom form. So what we've added is in the field type in the middle there in that drop-down list. I click this drop-down, you'll see there are two options for the text. There's a text and then there is a text long. The text long is the new added feature. This gives you the ability to add more text into the actual screen when you're adding information. So let me go ahead and click OK here. And I'll go to that custom screen so we can see the difference. So I've opened the custom screen here, the preferred language. You can see on this custom screen that the first line is longer than the second line. The first line is now our new text long option in the drop-down. Now we've almost doubled that, so you can add more information if you needed to add that to a custom form or to a report. You now have the space that you need. We've also updated the VA request for determination of reasonable value form. So that's over on the left here. This form has previously been inside of Point. We have updated the form and it's gone from a 3-page printed form to a 2-page. So when you do click that print icon, you can see that there is just 2 pages now for the request of value. Let me go back to the borrower's information screen. And we can cover the linking information from first and second mortgages with this update. So I'm going to scroll down so you can see a little bit more about my loan information. I'm doing a refinance here and I have a loan amount of $200. I'm going to add a second mortgage to this loan. So I'm going to go to the bottom subfinancing button. That part has not changed. What has changed in here is we now have a new and existing checkboxes, and we have a section 4B that will automatically link up the other new mortgages that are entered inside of your application. And then 3A here is going to add up the other existing mortgages that are not listed as the second mortgage here. So let's walk through creating a new second mortgage here so I can show you all of the steps. So if we do have a second mortgage and it's a new loan, I've got my first checkbox checked. I can go over to the second mortgage button, click that, and it's going to allow me to enter the information for the second mortgage. I enter a loan amount here. And save and close. I now show a $50,000 mortgage, and this will link to section 4B of the application. So I'm going to click over on section 4, and you can see in 4B here it's listed a second lien with the payment and the loan amount since I did list it as a new loan. Let's go back to the borrower information screen. Let's say rather than doing a new second loan, you already have a second loan that you are putting with this file. I'm going to click the subfinancing button again. Rather than us having the new loan checkbox checked, Let's do an existing loan. You'll see off to the right that second mortgage button is now grayed out. We're not able to enter the second mortgage information here. It's going to actually take the loan information from what we've put in our liabilities and matched up with our REOs. So let's go ahead, click OK, and we'll go to our liabilities and REOs section. So up on section 2 and 3, and we're going to scroll down and see I've entered 3 mortgages here and I've entered a property here. First step you want to do is make sure that your property down in your REO is listed as your subject property. The subfinancing will only pick up liabilities that are linked to your subject property, so you do want to make sure that this checkbox in the top left is checked. Next, you're going to want to match your liabilities with your REO that is for your subject property. So I'm going to click the Match with Liabilities here. And I've got my 3 liabilities up top. So I'm going to match each one. Now, the order will become important when we go back to the borrower's information screen and that subfinancing. What's going to be placed in the second mortgage is going to be whatever is the highest liability in this list for the subject property. So we've currently got $100,000 listed there, and then we've got 2 others that are worth $70,000. So those will be combined. Let me click OK, and I'm going to go show you that on the borrower information screen. And down at the subfinancing, you can see the existing loan has that $100,000, and then the 3A down below is the sum of the other mortgages, the $50,000 and the $70,000. So if you didn't want to have the $100,000 in that second mortgage spot, all you'd need to do is go back to your liabilities. Let me scroll down there. And you could rearrange your liabilities. If I wanted to have my $50,000 showing as my second mortgage, I could move that up in my list. And now when I go back to my borrower information screen and my subfinancing, it has updated the existing loan to the $50,000 and shows the sum as the other 2 values. So that's how you would move around what value you wish to see in the second mortgage or the sum of the others. And the final feature that we've got inside of our 10.9 release helps with support. So if you've been asked to send a file over to support for them to look at, they would have instructed you to go up to the Help and then the Email Technical Support. This used to work only if you have Outlook or a 32-bit encryption set up with your Outlook. Many other people use other email systems or are now using 64-bit. So to help with the ability to send Calyx support the file, we have now put in a Save as PCF at the bottom left. By saving your file here, it protects your customer's privacy. It's going to remove their social security numbers, their liabilities, any information pertinent to that customer, but allow us to still see the file so we can help you with any issue that you've run into. So you go ahead and click the Save as PCF, and it would allow you to place that file on your desktop to then attach in an email to your Calyx support. Thank you for attending today's webinar. We hope you've received some helpful information. If you didn't get your question answered during this webinar, we will reach out to you shortly with that reply. At the end of the session, you'll receive a 5-question survey, and we would appreciate you completing that so we can improve our training program and follow up with you if you so choose. To further assist you, a recording of the webinar will be available through the Calyx customer portal very soon. Have a great rest of your day.